they use your own people to fuck you sometimes. So outside of every military base, there's these veteran-owned car dealerships that cater to veterans and veteran and service, and they're giving you the worst deal you could possibly receive.
Right.
And I'm comparing that because it's like a lot of the HBCUs, they're corrupt as and because of the racist system that doesn't give a it's like they're allowed to be corrupt, carte blanche. Like remember when Ed Reed when they tried to duplicate what Deion Sanders did with Ed Reed. I forget what college it was.
Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, and it was like, and he showed up like, where the is all the money?
Well, I think I don't disagree with you. I think you have to change that word because word matters. It's not corrupt. It's inept. Meaning it's not on purpose.
I get what you're saying.
It's not on purpose.
Listen, from a distance,
it's the same.
Evil and stupid look the same. Welcome back, BS with Brian Simpson, episode 63. By the way, I'm going to be in Davenport, Iowa at the Rhythm City Casino on May 26th. I'm also going to be at Comedy Works Denver, July 13th, 14th, and 15th, and West Nyack in New York City, July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. If you want to get tickets to that, just go to my website, BrianSimpsonComedy.com, or go to my social medias, click on that BS Comedian link there on the Linktree/BS Comedian. You can get tickets either way. Don't forget to listen to Eddie Pepitone and Kevin Tinkin's Apocalypse soon. Don't forget to listen to the Josh Potter Show. Don't forget to check out comedyfrequency.com. And don't forget to check out my guest, Trenton Davis. What's your socials?
Yeah, at Trenton Comedy on everything.
At Trenton Comedy on all social medias. Did I forget something, Rob? I don't think so. I think I nailed that. Oh, yeah. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want advice from the advice champ, just email me as BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 323-451-1980. Again, that's Brian Simpson Comedy at Gmail. I'm sorry, that's BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 323-451-1980. Also, if you're ever in Austin, Texas, every Tuesday evening, I host Bottom of the Barrel at the Comedy Mothership. So if you want to get into the Mothership, that's the easy way to do it. It's an improvised stand-up show. The audience puts suggestions in the bucket. The comedians pull suggestions out the bucket. It's a barrel. And we riff off of your shit. There's no pre-planned material allowed. All right. And Trenton's going to be on that show tonight. Yeah. Well, actually, by the time they see this, you're not going to be, but whatever. Every comment that
go
comes
back in time,
pops in
go down to Mothership and see him.
Yeah. Come down to the Mothership, check it out. Yeah. So this is my guest, Trenton Davis. He's one of my longtime comedy friends. I think we've known each other for like 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, something crazy.
Since San Diego Madhouse.
Yeah, San Diego Madhouse. The original Madhouse that was in the mall that's gone.
Yes.
Yeah, in the fucking Willy Wonka mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a poorly designed place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Trent, it's been a while, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. I mean, the pandemic kind of split everybody the fuck up.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, 2020 was a weird, divisive time, because everybody kind of went into survival mode,
It was the apocalypse without the zombies, in that everybody was locked down, basement. You didn't see people that you know and see. We would see each other, not a lot, but we'd see each other 2 or 3 times a year. 4 times a year.
Yeah, and then it went to zero.
Then it went to zero for like 2 or 3 years.
So you was telling me about, so you were filming a special. Right?
Yeah.
Right as this happened. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so the name of it, and I did this, Brian, you'll get it, man. I did it from a marketing perspective. I named the album At Trenton Comedy. Because I was like, it's going to show up on people's XM radio, and they used to always be like, "How can I find you? How can I find you?" So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna name the album At Trenton Comedy."
That was smart, okay,
bruh. And I was ready for it. This shit was gonna be great. I had worked on it. It's I'm proud of the content of the album. I'm super proud of it. And literally, we filmed it March 14th, 2020. Literally that Friday before the 13th, the world shut down. People stopped traveling. The NCAA was in the middle of March Madness. NCAA was like, "Nah, we done. We quit. We cancel." If they cancel March Madness, you know niggas ain't coming out to my show.
Yeah.
You nigga.
That's when it got real. They canceled March Madness. Tom Hanks got it.
Yeah.
And the NFL stopped.
NFL stopped. Basketball stopped. Man, I was like, this ain't good. This ain't good. And by the way, on top of all that, it never snowed. If anybody ever go to Portland, Oregon, it snows in Portland, Oregon, maybe once every 120 years. Like every time you see Haley's Comet. It fucking snowed the night of the album. I was like, what else? What else can we put on top of this shit?
That kind of feel like a curse.
Nigga, I don't know. It's so bad. The album is not bad. Like I said, the content, but the filming of it, it was maybe, I'm not being funny, it was maybe 23 people in a 300-seater. That always sells out. I've been there 3-4 years.
That's interesting as fuck, man. I could just start a whole new podcast just talking to people about what was ruined when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a story like that.
Everybody.
It was like because everybody's momentum stopped.
Yes.
Whatever not these lazy niggas, but people that was like working towards something that had goals, all that shit. You had to reroute, rehustle.
Real talk. I say I open up the show, blah, blah. I ain't gonna be one of the people that talk their jokes, but I open it up like everybody has a COVID experience. And I was like, and I respect it. I get it. Your COVID experience is this, blah, blah, blah. And I go into something. But I agree with you 100%.
But it's different when you're in I think it's different when you're in anything that's a gamble. Like, sports or entertainment, where it's like sure, they're some of the most rewarding things, but the vast majority of people, because like when people talk about athletes, they talk about all these millionaires. Like, no, most professional athletes are not millionaires, not even close. Most of them are fucking struggling, right? And most of them playing in the Arena League, or they playing in the what's that new shit, that ML7, that shit
USFL and shit like that. Yeah.
But they're gambling that they gonna play like that Tyler kid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Tyler. Austin Reeves, the white boy in the Lakers.
The Lakers. Yeah.
He balled out in high school, but didn't get no scholarship offers.
Yeah.
And he went to a small school, balled out, then then left, even though he had another year of eligibility. Like, he redshirted that first season.
Yeah.
Then left to the draft, didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got a two-way contract from the Lakers, meaning he could play in the league or get called up to the boom, and then balled out, didn't win the championship, and then when they made all the roster cuts, they cut Russell Westbrook and kept him.
Yeah.
And called him up. Yeah, so it's like, but that could easily go the other way, because for every Austin Reeves, it's 150 other motherfuckers that ain't gonna ever sniff the NBA.
Yeah. What you're saying is, from an entertainment or sports perspective, momentum matters.
Momentum matters, yeah.
And so then that fucking COVID, no matter what you're doing, to your point, if you weren't already famous, if you hadn't already made it, or maybe you was only famous for 3 months,
yeah, right? Or you was on the cusp.
Momentum is like, oh man, well maybe next time.
Yeah,
and
man.
It fucked a lot of shit.
It happened to me. Like, bro, I had a lot of buzz, a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh man, this is it. Cause I got on a Netflix show. It never aired.
Yeah.
But it was like a competition type of deal.
Yeah.
And it was almost like that, like the rap joint with T.I.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like you get chosen by the judges for the initial teams, and you compete with the whoop. And they flew in like 30 people from all around, all walks of life, all that shit. And they brought in different audiences for all of us to do our little thing.
Yeah.
And so the judges only picked like 6 people apiece. So I mean, most of the people going home.
Yeah.
And I got picked. I was killing this shit. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely gonna win this.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I thought. Like, I'm gonna win this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because the winner got an hour.
Yeah.
The winner gets an hour special on Netflix.
Netflix.
And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting this hoe. I'm definitely getting this hoe. And not that there wasn't other funny people on there, but I was just so locked in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, bro, because I got an hour. So like, I got more than an hour, and I'm like, I'm gonna hit them with my best shit, even if that means I'm burning it from the hour. Like, I'm gonna win this bitch.
Yeah.
And then we did. So the way they did, they pick you, and then they film you being mentored and shit. And then boom. So we did the 1 week of the competition. We did the 1 week of the mentor shit, and then I went on the road to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh shit.
And while I was on the plane, I get a text from somebody else. It's like, hey, man, get off that plane. And I'm like, what you mean? They're like, yo, they shutting LA down. I'm like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
He was like, yo, you might not be able to come back. I'm like, oh, no. I can't get stuck in Wilmington, but I'm on the plane already.
Right.
But and then while I was in Wilmington,
They shut it down.
they shut down the whole production. And then they was nice though. They still paid us for a couple months.
Yeah.
And then they told us like it's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
And
gone.
it never came back.
No, and then like a month later they were like, yeah, it's never coming back. And it was like that was it. That was the end.
And
Yeah.
Hollywood, I tell people that are not in the game, Hollywood is so not like corporate America. Like corporate America, I'm gonna go get my MBA, I'm gonna go get this, and I'm going to move up this corporate ladder.
Right.
Hollywood is like it is. To me, it is so mercurial. It is so hit or miss.
Nothing is happening until it's happening. Bro, I know people that have gotten they've gotten like their big break.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They got a role in a Super Bowl commercial, or they were the voice of, Shrek, or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And then right before they go, oh yeah, you know what? So, John Leguizamo heard about it and he wants it. So, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Yeah.
You show up and somebody in your parking spot.
Imagine Batgirl. Remember the Batgirl? Yeah. She got in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And this ain't had nothing to do with the pandemic.
Yeah.
She she was the star of a Marvel movie, which is
DC, Brian.
I'm sorry,
DC.
Right, DC movie, which is a significant step down.
Yeah.
But for most people, that's
It's changing your life.
That's a career-making move.
Yeah.
You're the star of a DC movie. You know what I'm saying? And it can't possibly hurt your career.
Wait, and Brian, what was that woman's name?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. It's like,
exactly
I don't know, but can you imagine being her?
Oh.
She's the star of a DC movie. It's filmed.
She probably.
They editing it. They asking her for notes.
Nigga.
They sending her. You know what I'm saying? And then they just go, nah, never mind. And not for any reason other than, so the reason they put that movie out is because they got a new CEO who decided that because if they don't put it out, they can write it off as a loss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they put it out, they got to eat however it performs.
Right.
So he just started cutting shit.
And cut that shit.
He just cut that shit.
Holy
he
shit.
cut, I think what was the budget for that movie, Rob?
It's like $100 and something million, $120 million.
$100 and some. Can you
never
imagine?
put it out.
Because look, nigga, if you get drafted in NFL and you get a $100 million contract and you have a bad season, they not cutting you. Like hey, they put too much money in me. I'm not even losing my starting job.
Well, if it's you see in NFL, you got to use really basketball because NFL if it's guaranteed.
Oh right.
Shit ain't guaranteed, nigga. They'll cut you year 2. Nigga.
Yeah, you're right. So NBA, but
NBA, you're right.
If you get drafted and get $100 million,
we keep it.
You starting.
Let's keep it real. No offense to anybody that love Russell Westbrook. That's why he's still in. Cause they like, we not finna. You signed a 5-year, $100 million. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then they got that veteran super max Bush. Yeah.
So it's that shit is bad.
Momentum is important.
It's so fucking important.
That's the point that we're trying to make. In entertainment, momentum is important, and if you lose it, it's hard to get it back because, especially in like music, because the last thing you want to become in music is somebody will be like, that's played out. Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Soulja Boy made some dope music. And we love that motherfucker through the
I think, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I think comedy, when we're talking about entertainment, comedy is the one thing of all of them that gives us a little leeway, only that we get better as we get older.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
You can be an old man.
You can be only man to be. You can be. Matter of fact, I would argue the best comedians in the world at any given time are all over 40.
Yeah, that's facts.
Right?
Yeah.
Rogan, Louis C.K.,
because
Chappelle. There's nothing else where the best of anything is over 40. Nigga.
Right. Exactly. That's
ain't no except maybe best actor.
Yeah, everything gets worse.
Yeah.
I
mean, you could argue Denzel Washington. I don't know. I mean, maybe not.
Not now. I mean, look, Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves. John Wick is dope.
Yeah.
But he moving like an old man in that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the only thing though. That's the only everything else. Music. If I'm over 40 in music, it's a rap.
Like so did you see the last John Wick?
No, the fourth one I ain't seen it yet.
Oh man, okay.
It's bad.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah,
but
he feel old.
Keanu Reeves is not the most awesome part about the movie.
Yeah.
Nah, because they got your boy Donnie Yen in that joint.
Yeah.
And it's like and he's over 40. But you know what I'm saying? You could tell, like, Keanu, he's a lovely guy, but like he wasn't stretching and shit.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
He looked a little stiff.
He wasn't Neo.
Nah, he definitely wasn't Neo, bro. Those kicks was hella low.
Nigga, think about this shit. Neo is 98. Neo 24 years ago.
Yeah.
Neo's 24 years ago. Yeah. That sound crazy.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean,
but so was Ip Man, and Donnie Yen still looks great.
Yeah, you're right. Ip Man, was that 20? It was like 15.
The first Ip Man was probably a C.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's one of the coldest.
No, I'm sorry. I was wrong. That's 2008. So that's 10
it's 10 years later. Yeah, it's 10 years later. Okay.
But that scene where he fought 10 people, that was one of the, like, at the time, I was like, that's what the coldest shit I ever seen.
Yeah, that brings
Until
me back
I saw Ray Redemption, I was like, yeah, that's the Ip Man
is the shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know if you know what we do here, Trent. We just be talking shit about crazy news stories. We reply to some emails. I don't even think we got. It's weird. We don't have any emails this week, do we?
No, yeah, we do. We got an advice champ.
All
right. Let's see what they asking from the advice champ on here. And in Trenton is much wiser than me. So
it's a difference. I ain't wiser. No, it's just different.
Yeah, I mean his wisdom is in a different jar. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm that old black man from the South.
Yeah, he got that old Southern wisdom.
Trent, where are you from?
Originally from North Carolina. Yeah, originally from North Carolina, and then went to school in Atlanta. But Brian and I met. I live out in like San Diego now.
So which one are we reading here? Is this the one from?
Yeah, but he wants his name to be Tristan, so I'll edit that part out.
Okay, all right.
But it just says advice champ.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you sure he wants his name to be Tristan?
Well, okay, I mean, that's what he signed it as.
Okay. Yeah. Ready? Hey, yes, Brian, Rob, and Josh. Hustle culture has fucked me up. No, I'm sorry. Hustle culture has me fucked up. One of my favorite hobbies is making and posting videos and 3D animations. They're shitty and stupid, but creating them brings me a ton of happiness and satisfaction. Sometimes it feels like wasted time, though. I could be monetizing the skills I've acquired, but I'm worried I'll lose my creative outlet doing tedious work all day in the software I currently use for fun. Do I spend time progressing my skill set and trying to earn a living, or should I keep doing it for personal enjoyment so I don't ruin my hobby by turning it into stressful work? Love the show. Well, Tristan, that is the struggle that we all go through. That's the struggle I went through with the podcast. Rob saved me from, he suffers so that I don't have to. Because when I first met Rob and his boss, that's what I told him, but I was doing this podcast in my bedroom and I was doing all the editing myself, and I knew, and I wanted to make the transition to video, but I was like, I couldn't possibly handle that. Yeah. I have an erratic sleep schedule. I hate this. Like, I hate doing it. So I don't love it enough to suffer for it. And so the podcast was inconsistent. And so I needed somebody that could do, everything but the talking consistently. And because it was starting to feel like a chore and I was about to stop. You know what I mean? Same thing with stand-up. It's like now that stand-up is the only thing I do and I make a living from it, I gotta make sure that I have something else that I enjoy doing that doesn't have any stakes. That's why I play video games. That's my outlet, that's my enjoyment. And all of these backwards ass hoes that exclude men that play video games, fuck you, bitch. I'm never gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? If you was thinking about Brian Handsome, you know what I'm saying? Or you was thinking you might shoot your shot, I'm not going to stop playing video games. You know what I mean? I'm going to always do it. I don't. You could make fun of it. You could tease it, whatever. That's what relieve my stress. You know what I'm saying? So my answer is, if you're going to do that, you have to make sure you get another hobby.
Yeah. If
you're going to start doing this for money, you got to make sure you do something else that you just enjoy for the enjoyment of it. You got to have that thing in your life.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I always did comedy the other way, which is I always kept a day job. Not necessarily great, but I always kept a day job so that I didn't need comedy for money.
Right.
And so then I always continued to love comedy to this day because I didn't need it to pay rent. Right. And so anytime you see me doing 90%, because Brian will tell you, in comedy, just like most entertainment, there's no middle class. It's either you made it or you didn't.
Right.
There's zero. It's not a lot of people making $57,000 in comedy. Right. You're either making probably over $250 or under $25,000.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think the threshold's probably like 100.
Okay.
You either making under 25 or you making over
100. Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. And so it's not a middle class. And so when you need comedy to eat, you can hate it.
And most of the people making under 25 are making nothing. They're making zero.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, Brian and I was talking before you come here because, I ain't gonna put nobody on blast because club owners trying to make money and they treat comedians like shit and blah 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 blah. And so you never really making money until you make it, which I tell people, which is why when you hear about somebody having an outlandish writer, like you got to have 39 green M&Ms in my green room by the time I start the show. It's not that they're an asshole. It's because they done went through 20 years of being treated like shit.
Well, you know what? Actually, people do that. Road managers do that because they want to make sure you read the whole thing.
You read the whole thing. Yeah.
So they put, I want a bowl of green M&Ms at the end of the writer school. When I walk in a room and there's a bowl of green M&Ms, I know that you did all the rest of the shit.
Yeah. I got you.
Like,
fair.
The way I want my mic set up, the way I want the frequencies, the way the lights, the smoke. I know you read it all if you got that right.
If you got to that,
even though, I don't know how much that works, but that's what I've been told recently. But
that story apparently comes from Van Halen. Because when they did their big tour, they had a bunch of pyro and stuff like that. And they're like, we want to make sure that the Teamsters read the rider because we don't want to get blown up by our own pyro.
Yeah.
And people are like, I have to stop people from giving me stuff that's on the rider, like stuff that I didn't put on there. So that's another thing too. Like sometimes the people that work for you, they want to impress you by what they can get.
Right.
So they'll ask for stuff in your name. That's fucking ridiculous. Or stuff like I used to drink a lot on the road. Now I don't drink, on the road. So I used to have whiskey on my shit.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get them to take it off for like a year and a half.
And they still got it.
Everywhere I go, there's like 2 or 3 bottles of this whiskey, and I'm like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
And by the way,
what made you stop drinking on the road?
Because it occurred to me that like. All the things that will kill you are free in show business. The cocaine, the booze, the loose women.
Yeah.
It's all just give it to you. Fried food, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, if you want the chicken fingers, they'll give them to you. If you want the damn salmon,
you got to pay for that.
Like, we'll give you a discount, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like, and the thing is, all of us have our little vices, and I was like, I have to, I got to start taking care of myself. I got to at least cut out the things that's easy for me to cut out.
Right.
And I'm not an alcoholic, so I don't need the alcohol. Like I can just drink water. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't need it. Like alcohol is not my thing.
Yeah.
I like weed. I smoke cigarettes. That's the things I'm gonna have to battle.
Right.
But alcohol is not one of them.
Was never a battle.
Yeah, cut that out. So
I got a question.
What's that?
I got a question. So Tristan is bringing up, he's doing 3D animations and stuff. I think that's a little bit different from stand-up because to get better at stand-up, you have to live that lifestyle to a certain degree. You have to go out. You have to do sets. You have to travel. You have to see different audiences. It's kind of difficult to do comedy part-time and get good at it. Mm-hmm. But with animation, he mentions like that's a thing that he does on his own time and just like puts out his animations. He doesn't really need an audience for that necessarily, especially if he's just getting some sort of benefit out of doing it himself. So how does that factor into the decision to either try to do it full time or stick with it as a hobby?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's the other side of it. I'm a great writer, but I haven't been in very many writers' rooms because I don't enjoy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to, because I've submitted packets for the Tonight Shows and all the lates and the, various other things, but I never really wanted to do them because I don't, because that takes the joy out of it. Because like being an artist is taking what's up here. Actually, being an artist is looking at the same thing that everybody else is looking at and seeing something else, right? Like you look at an artist will look at a non-artist will look at a pile of clay and just see a pile of clay, and an artist will look at the pile of clay and go, oh shit, that's a
remote control car.
Yeah, you're right, or something like that. Or some people look at a pile of pennies and that's all they see is change, and some people make a mural of Martin Luther King out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they'll see just the way a bush is sitting, and they're like, oh, that looked like such and such afro, so I'm gonna draw his face on this wall. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
So you look at something, you see something else, and then you take what you see up here and you put it in the world. You create it.
Yeah.
But if you get hired by some company, they're saying, no. Draw what we thought of. Fuck what you think. Draw what we draw our ideas. You know what I mean? And that can be, that can drain your fucking soul. When they're like, yeah, like that's why anytime I hire an artist, I the only time I give them any input is in the beginning.
Yeah.
I go, this is what I want. But I never micromanage. I let them do their vision because that's what brings joy to an artist, is doing what they envision. So whatever my words create in their head, I'm cool with that, But anyway, so yeah, that's a decision you're gonna have to make, man. It's like, do you want to use your talents for someone? Because I don't know exactly what you mean by monetizing. If you mean getting a job where you get paid to animate, that's gonna make you fucking miserable. And it's not very lucrative either. So
yeah, but I think the other side of that is, and this is the old man in me, also what is equally miserable is being broke on somebody else's couch. I tell people on a regular basis, it's cool to be a starving artist at 21. Yeah. It is not at 40.
No.
At 40, it's not cool to be a starving artist. And so you got to, now I'm not saying maybe you find another job and just to Brian's point, just use your animation for fun so you can keep the art in it. Or you have art or use the animation as your job and still figure out a way to still do what you want to do on the side. But my comment would be, don't choose broke, nigga.
Amen.
Don't never choose broke.
Amen. Because that's the thing. I think because a lot of successful artists, their story involves being broke. I think some people think that that's like it's sexy. Like it's been what's the word? Not glorified, but it's been. Like they put
romanticized.
Fetishized.
Yeah, fetishized.
They fetishize the starving came from nothing. Motherfuckers go, Jim Carrey slept behind a dumpster. And it's like, okay, yeah, nigga, but Kevin Hart didn't. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Murphy didn't sleep. It's like you don't have to be. You don't do that on purpose. You know how many rich kids there are in Hollywood that's
most. Let's call it what it is.
That's like living in their car for no reason because they think that's part of
I was gonna say a lot of those stories are made up to create this overarching narrative for the actor or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
that they
or
came
the director or whatever, and a lot of them like they're homeless, and it's like, well, no, you lived in your car for the week that your loft was getting repainted.
Like they say, Jeff Bezos started in a garage. Yeah, it was a 5-car garage.
and not only that though, that is the trick of Hollywood. If you look at all the, whether it's American Idol, back when they had any of those reality shows, they got you sleeping outside at night. Every single one.
They can't just be like, because it's a show about who can sing.
Yeah.
but before you hear them sing, they show you a video of him like eating out of a dumpster.
Yes.
He used to be starving.
Cat food. They have to give you a story. I remember this really happened. I ain't gonna name no names, but I remember doing NBC Stand Up for Diversity. Okay. Right? And almost like how you felt with the Netflix thing, I had made it. I had done it the previous 4 years. And this 5th year, I made it to the finals. And when I tell you, nigga, I killed the final, I walked out like, man, I'm finna get me a Ferrari tomorrow. I'm put the lease down. Mama, quit your job. It's a wrap. And they came back and said, Trenton, this is the thing. Exactly what he said. He said my manager at the time told me 2 things. He said, Trenton, I already know you had a great set because everybody has called me. He said, this is what I heard. I'm just going to tell you this right now. First he said, sit down. Then he said, they want a woman to win this year. And he said, also, you don't have a good enough story. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, you got both your parents. You went to college. You ain't broke.
Right.
And I'm like, so I'm too successful to make it, nigga. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's almost like when you make too much money for public assistance.
Yes.
But you're still starving.
Yeah. Look, the limit for financial aid, real talk, limit for financial aid was combined income, group income was like $44,000.
Between two people.
My parents made 47. It was like, nigga, too bad.
Yeah. Tell your mama to quit.
Yeah. It's exactly the same thing, though.
Yeah, it's wild out here.
It's wild, yeah.
I got 3 ways you can monetize. So I used to animate. What you can do is record yourself animating so people can see you doing it, and you put that on YouTube. So that's like an hour of you drawing. A second way of doing it is...
Gotta speed that up, though.
Correct. A second way of doing it is doing cartoons for comedians, like clips. They pay you pretty well for that. And then also to get...
I won't pay you for that.
To get your name out there is submit your cartoons to film festivals. And when you get those laurels, people see those laurels, they'll pay you more.
Shit.
Okay.
Well, but that's assuming that that's the direction he wants to go, because that's the first thing that he starts off with is that hustle culture has him fucked up. And I interpret that... What's that?
Oh, yeah, he does say hustle culture got me fucked up.
Like he don't want to hustle.
Well, I don't know if it's that he doesn't want to hustle. I think it's that... I mean, this may be just me interpreting it this way, but when I hear that, I think that he's got it in his head that he's only getting value out of his art if he's getting paid for it.
Hey, Rob, I think I just said his real name again.
Did you? Well, I'll just cut it out.
I think so. But here's the other thing, Tristan. Here's the other thing, Tristan. Listen, if you go, it's nothing wrong with you using black slang, but don't whiten it up. It's hustle culture got me fucked up. If you're gonna say me fucked up, it's got. Culture, he wrote culture has me fucked up. No. Hustle culture got me fucked up.
So you're saying his slang was grammatically correct?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like you either speaking AVE or you're not. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't. I don't know. I'm just fucking with you, man. Talk how the fuck you want. But anyway, I hope you got. I mean, that was a lot of different perspectives and shit you got. But maybe you just pick whatever person you resonate with the most. Because here's the other thing, man. At the end of the day, nothing is worth your peace of mind. Like when I'm trying to make hard decisions, I remember that. My mama always said that. Nothing is worth your peace of mind. And when it comes to how you live in your life, there are no wrong answers. There's not a right and wrong answer. It's about who you want to be on the other side of that decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you're comfortable with who you're going to be on the other side of that decision, then it's not a wrong choice. You know what I'm saying? So you can't think of it as like I'm doing the right thing, I'm doing the wrong thing. Because then you end up what they call paralysis by analysis. You start thinking about whether it's perfect decision or not, and then you don't do anything.
Yeah, I love that, man. I'm right now reading this book on Stoicism, and it talks about live with arete, which means live according to your values.
Right.
So no matter, to your point, everything you just said, there ain't no right or wrong. You figure out what your values are and make a choice according to your values, and you'll always be able to look yourself in the mirror. I agree 100%. And
if you think like he's, and again, if you think that doing that would disturb your peace, then don't do it.
Don't do it, yeah.
But also being broke would disturb your peace.
All day long.
All day. So that's a whole other thing, man. Rob loves it when we can blame things on capitalism. That's it.
My favorite thing in the entire world.
Okay, I think we got one more email. By the way, man, Nike just canceled my order last night for no reason. Okay, stupid question. Apologies, send of a draft apologies. Okay, dear Advice Champ, I'm curious if you ever listened to the Q&A recordings with Patrice.
O&A.
The O&A recordings with Patrice. I've been a huge fan of his and cycle back to his episodes for comfort, but I was curious if you ever did it yourself. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that dude was so full of knowledge and wisdom. I mean, he was wrong about a lot of stuff too, but so were we all. But he was always fucking funny and honest. And I love listening to Patrice's perspective on a whole lot of things. I mean, God bless all those people that uploaded all that O&A shit because they didn't do it. And if it wasn't up there, man, it would just be gone. Like, people wouldn't even realize. Like, you know, I would almost rather that shit stick around in his stand-up. Like, if I had to pick one, because it was the same thing. Like, in fact, on O&A, I once heard him say, when he was talking about Carlos Mencia, he was like, it's not that you stealing jokes, you stealing my life analogies. That's what comedians are. That's why older comedians are usually like the best comedians. It's because they've lived enough life, and their comparisons, the thing, you know, the way they compare things or the way they explain things, the analogies, they have more of that. You know, and so my point is, you get, you know, stand up is just a refined version of that.
Yeah.
And so there's probably only 2.5, 3 hours of Patrice's stand-up, and there's like 1,000 hours of him talking on Opie and Anthony and on the Black Phillip show. So you get more of his perspective. You know what I'm saying?
And you get the process. Right?
And you get the process.
To your point, the stand-up is the refined, it's the end product. It's the finished product.
Right.
And all this is the process of getting to that.
It's like the stand-up is the cocaine that made it to the United States. But the O&A shit is the coca leaves.
It's the whole thing,
Before you get the whole thing from scratch.
It's the Scarface for the first hour and 15 minutes. That's what it is. It's being in Cuba and then coming over and working for somebody before you get to Porsche and all that.
Yeah, but thanks for that email, man. We fucks with you.
Yeah.
All right, so now what we normally do is we either have a Black History segment, which we're gonna start doing way more of those. In fact, I think I'm gonna get a Black History intern specifically, because when the show was audio only, I used to do each episode I would do crazy news, which we're about to do.
Yeah.
But each episode I would also do like obscure Black history.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, my whole thing was like most Black people, like, if you ask most people, you know, name 5, name as many historical Black figures you can and like what they did.
Yeah.
You know, most Black people can get to like 9.
Yeah.
And most white people can name like 4.
Yeah.
And if they grew up around Black people, maybe 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
like, everybody goes Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, maybe they get hit you with Harriet.
Yeah, Maya Angelou.
Yeah, Rosa Parks.
Yeah, that's it.
And then they run out of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, so I wanted to, but the problem is, because if you read just regular history books or you listen to Ron DeSantos, Black people, you know, there was slavery, and then there was a whole thing where Black people didn't exist.
Yeah.
And then it was the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, we didn't invent nothing. We didn't contribute to nothing. And if you say otherwise, you criminal.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but as doing all of the research about, you know, because Black people contributed a lot. There's a lot of great people in history that were Black, but every story ended with like tragedy because of racism.
Yeah.
And I just got so fucking tired. Because I was already battling depression. I'm sitting there in my room alone editing this podcast, listening to myself talk about this sad fucking story that I just told. And it just started to be exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll talk about it, but somebody else got to do the research.
Well, can I ask you this question? It's not necessarily Black history. I'm looking at it as Black future. But I think we can have some good conversation around it, if you allow me to.
Oh, yeah, come on.
So I'm big on now. I'm getting my MBA at North Carolina A&T. So it's the largest historically Black college in the world.
Okay.
And
so it's not an HBCU.
No, it is HBCU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But these two things I'm getting ready to say aren't related. So I'll say that. Also, last week, while LeBron was beating the Golden State Warriors, his son announced he was going to USC.
Okay.
And I cannot say this enough. I am so frustrated with our top athletes going to PWIs, predominantly white institutions. Okay. And let me make sure I'm clear. I'm not angry that they're going to PWIs. I'm angry that they're not even looking at historically Black colleges and universities, because And I get it. Like people like, well, A&T doesn't have the facilities that USC does. But it never will if we don't go there. Like to me, every year the Final Four should be Hampton, Howard, FAMU, and A&T. Every year. Because what we're doing is taking our number one resource, which is our talent, and giving that shit away.
Well, can I push back on that a little bit?
100%. That's why, yeah.
Because I think the black experience in this regard is very similar to the active duty military experience.
Okay.
In the sense that they use your own people to fuck you sometimes. So outside of every military base, there's these veteran-owned car dealerships that cater to veterans and veteran and service, and they're giving you the worst deal you could possibly receive.
Right.
And I'm comparing that because it's like a lot of the HBCUs, they're corrupt as fuck, and because of the racist system that doesn't give a fuck, it's like they're allowed to be corrupt. Carte blanche. Like remember when Ed Reed when they tried to duplicate what Deion Sanders did with Ed Reed. I forget what college it was.
Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, and it was like, and he showed up like, what the fuck? Where the fuck is all the money?
Well, I think I don't disagree with you. I think you have to change that word because word matters. It's not corrupt. It's inept. Meaning it's not on purpose.
I get what you're saying.
It's not on purpose.
Listen, from a distance,
it's the same.
Evil and stupid look the same.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like
100%.
Like if I trip, stumble, and shoot up a school,
right?
That looked the same as if I just ran up in the school and shot it up. It's like because the effect is the same. You know what I'm saying?
Zero doubt about that.
So it's same thing with Deion, where it's like he left that university because they was playing with the money.
Because they can't. I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is what happened, and I acknowledge that it's a circle. What happens is our young, talented young men don't go there, so they don't have money. They don't have money, so it's inept and fucking bumbling idiots. Our talented kids don't go there because they're bumbling idiots. But it's a circle, and at some point we have to stop it.
Look,
it'll never happen in my lifetime.
It's just like a lot of countries in Africa where it's like we go, oh, let's send $1 billion in aid, and then not even think about it. But then that $1 billion don't go to the people; it go to some fucking crooked ass dictator.
But right, agreed. But the more you shine light on something. Right, and so
you're right. You're right. Because what's the Jewish term? I saw somebody talking about this on Instagram the other day.
I ain't been to name it. I ain't finna get in trouble.
No.
I don't know.
There's a term in the Jewish community that means basically like if you open a store,
yes,
we gonna shop at your store.
Yeah,
and if it's fucked up, we still gonna shop at your store, but we gonna check you.
Yeah,
we gonna correct you.
I don't know what it is, but I love
your
that.
shit is the best shit.
I don't know what it is, but I love it.
If I forget the fucking name of it, hold on, let me see.
I love that because this is the thing, man, and because that kind of change. I think what we got to talk about also. If you ever seen that documentary on Netflix, and it was called Schooled, and it talked about just how much money goes into NCAA basketball and football. That's all it is making money. Basketball and football are the only two fucking sports making money, and it's 80%
making
black
money off people too.
Yeah.
And
it's 80% African Americans, right? And so a school, man, I don't get. There's nothing that pisses me off more than watching a black dude rooting for Alabama, knowing if it wasn't for football, they would hate us.
Oh, right.
They look. We
can run.
And it's not like I'm not talking about 50 years ago. I'm talking about right now. How oftentimes do we see come up on Instagram or Twitter where it'll be some group of kids in a sorority or fraternity house and they saying nigga this nigga, and they get kicked out of school. It happens every couple months. They get kicked out of the sorority, get kicked out of the fraternity, get kicked out of school. And I get, like, my older brother, he had a son, and he was like, I ain't sending my kid to no HBCU. He ain't gonna get the exposure, and I understand that. But LeBron James' son can go to Alaska Tech. He's gonna get exposure. So all the excuses that a regular person would use, they don't have the facilities, they don't have the exposure, they don't have the coaches. the LeBron James son, the Carmelo Anthony son, Scottie, they can beat all that. They done have personal trainers that were the best for the last 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it could listen, if we could do it all at once.
But think about it. Look, me saying we trying to improve, let's say we're trying to improve how African Americans spend our money. That's a big change because it's 8% of a 370 million population. So that's a big deal to change that many people. But to change the NCAA, literally 100 people could do it in 1 year. If the top 100 athletes next year, top 100 high school athletes next year decided to go to HBCUs, it would change the landscape of America in 1 year. So we're talking about 100.
That's certainly possible. but like I said, I think you've convinced me that it's probably a mixture of ineptitude and corruption.
Yeah.
And man, that's just hard to fight. Now that they're finally allowed to make money, that could definitely happen. Here's the other thing too. It would take our very few black billionaires, Jay-Z, to somehow fund that. Where it's like next year, he spends $2 million for the 100 black athletes to go to HBCUs. Boom, signs them to Rock Nation.
Yeah,
automatically you automatically got representation. Gives them sweetheart deals so they go to HBCUs. That would Duke wouldn't be in the fucking tournament.
They wouldn't be.
Actually, you know what? That's not true. But it would definitely be a bunch of like Lakers versus Celtics ass shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about what you remember. This one, you and I. Well, I know I'm 5 years older than you, but you remember when the Fab Five came out, literally 5 players changed the landscape of basketball.
Yeah.
And the first, which is why we call them the Fab Five, the freshman 5, 1 year they was in the NCAA finals in 1 year. So my point is, especially basketball, football's harder. Football's way harder. You need a foundation, you need a program. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Basketball, if you give me the top 3 picks and you can put me the top 3 picks at Austin State University Tech Junior College. You give me the top 3 picks, we going to the dance.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? It's like, so I'm not a big basketball person.
Yeah.
But explain to me, you have to be D1 to be in the tournament, right?
So like this year,
are there any HBCUs as D1?
Yeah, this year, if you look at we always get kicked out in first round. This year, I forget who it was, but they played Howard. Howard's HBC, probably the most popular HBCU. It's where Kamala Harris went to college.
Most well-known one.
Most well-known. And Kamala went there for undergrad, I believe. And they played, God damn it, I don't know, Duke, Kentucky or something. Got mollywop, got beat by 40. But it pisses me off because, they got beat by 40, but you know who beat them by 40? All the black kids at Kentucky. Kentucky didn't beat these niggas. the Bronx and goddamn.
Yeah, wouldn't it be some wild shit if your players had to be from your state?
Yes, it does. I would love that because I'm from North Carolina. We'd be whooping ass every year. Yes.
It would just be the South. It would just be the South for the rest of the time.
It'd be Texas and North Carolina all day long.
Yeah, because man, it's wild because all of the top football recruits come from like Florida, California,
Texas. Texas got a fucking monopoly.
If you could only draft players from your state,
it'd be a problem. Like Delaware wouldn't win shit. Delaware will never win shit.
New Hampshire
would
just close their shit.
Close the shit down. The program is off.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. I mean, and honestly, I don't know what the right answer is because your idea sounds great, but
I've been working on it. I sold it.
I think see, this is your first time on the pod, but like, I toggle between cynicism and I wouldn't say positivity, but like I go back and forth between there's no hope for us all to like maybe there's a little bit.
So you between realism and skepticism. You don't never get to the optimism side.
I'm like because no, I never get to the optimism.
You in the middle. Brian's an optimistic cynic.
Yeah, because the ever present cloud of just knowing human nature just hovers above my fucking head. and I just know how people are, man, and I just don't think they got it.
Well,
I don't think they got it.
I don't disagree with you. I'm gonna just say two more things. This is your podcast. We'll move on. First one is remember you started it with corruption, but don't forget, just 2 years ago we had the whole thing about these famous white Hollywood people getting their kids into USC and UCLA, getting them in because they knew somebody that knew somebody, and they'd get them in on like a swimming scholarship, and they never swam one fucking time. Somebody went to jail for that.
No, but I don't mean that kind of corruption.
Different kind of corruption.
I'm talking because still, those parents are paying money. Like if you go to USC, you can walk around and see where all the money is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What I'm saying is, the investments in the college don't actually go to the school. They don't go to the kids. Because
they don't. I would argue this point that the same percentage of money that's corrupt, that's going to corruption would probably be around the same. It's just the difference is the HBCUs are getting dramatically less money on the top line. Because I'm not saying do it now, but Google North Carolina A&T and look at the campus. Nigga, that shit is amazingly beautiful. It is amazing because it's one of the few, very few, but it's one of the few that's a state school. That's an HBCU. Like Morehouse is not a state school. Morehouse is a private college, so it's $15,000 a year to go there, $20,000 a year, which most African American families don't have. Compare that to A&T. So when I was graduating high school, I could go to Morehouse at $15,000 a year, or North Carolina A&T, that was $2,300 a year. They're not even in the same ballpark. My dad was like, "Oh, nigga, well, you going to A&T?"
So if A&T is a state school,
yeah,
why can't they get?
They get bread.
No, I'm saying why can't they get?
Good athletes.
Black athletes.
Oh, that's a great question. That's a long story, and I don't want the thing is this, because if you look at from the beginning of time, since slavery, the subconscious teaching in America has been that what is right, what is white is right.
I agree.
Just like now, you making money now, right? If somebody told you right now, hey, you need to get a financial manager, you gonna hire a black financial manager?
Oh, I would, yeah.
Would you think about it though? Would you have to think about it?
Oh, I get what you're saying. You're saying, would I trust that he on the up and up?
Yeah.
No.
So like, I would hire a black financial manager, but my initial gut is to hire a Jewish person. And I hope I'm not being rude to the Jewish listeners. That's not my goal.
It's too late.
Well,
watch it now.
I know I am. My point is the
Shalom.
Yeah, shalom. Look, my career is done anyway. So, but the initial thing is like, remember CNN did that story on like 5-year-olds a long time ago. Like, not say a long time ago, like 6-7 years ago. 5 and 6-year-olds, and they said they put people of color on, and they drew them like on animation and said, okay, who's the smart one? They would pick the white one. They was like, who's the one that's good at math? They picked the Asian. So there's these messages that's in the undercurrent of America. And so it makes it so that even black people don't trust other black people.
Yeah, you're right. Because like I told you, they use your own kind to fuck you.
Yes.
Right? It's like I'm more suspicious, especially when somebody's telling me what I want to hear.
Yeah. So my brother's a prime example. He went to an HBCU for undergrad and grad, has a son that was potentially gonna play D1 basketball, and was like, oh, ain't no way I'm sending my son to HBCU. So we're our own problem. I acknowledge this us.
You gonna send your daughter to an HBCU?
Well, see, she don't play sports. No. So I would, but she doesn't play sports, so it won't have the impact as if Bronny's Jr. does.
Right.
But I 100% would. I take her, but whether people believe it or not, I take her down every year just to see it because I'm grooming her ass. I want her to see black excellence.
No, you're right, because look, I understand completely what you're saying, like, because the same conditioning that white people have about like the way they see us, we also have.
Yes.
It's like we're watching all the same movies, all the
Yes.
same TV shows, and that's why we have this idea of talking black or acting black, because like I met a lot of white people in the Marine Corps that never had met no black people and would tell me that I don't act black.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because you don't know any black people. So
yeah.
where do you getting that image from? You getting it from movies,
That's it.
TV,
All
et cetera.
day.
And so yeah, you're right. Sometimes so then that begs the question, so maybe the problem, how would money solve the problem at the poor HBCUs?
Oh, see, Well, great question. So what happens is money then allows you just said it earlier, and I'm putting your business out there. You then go to a marketing, you have a marketing company that helps you get the message out that you're doing a show in Denver or you're doing a show in Houston. You get that messaging out. With more money, we get to change the messaging. And whether we like it or not, black folk follow. We love our goddamn celebrities. Oprah tell black people to do something, they gonna do it. Steve Harvey tell black people to do something, we gonna do it. So the minute they see a LeBron or Carmelo or blah, blah, blah sending their children to HBCU, that's why I say LeBron's son was such a big deal, because we revere our celebrities. That's why black comedians that make it, and Chris Rock said this ain't mine, black comedians that make it, we have a sense of duty that's like, man, I gotta talk about this shit. I gotta talk about this, because black people look at our celebrities different than other cultures.
I was explaining that, like, one of our earlier episodes, Rob, I talked about that, how like we're measured by another category. Like, you play Madden, as different stats.
Yeah.
It's like black celebrities, let's just say actors. They go by, your range, your depth, your delivery, your all that, but also your accolades. How many awards have you won?
Yeah.
How many, but then also, are you black enough? Like,
Is your wife black?
Yeah, is your wife black?
Is your wife black?
Is your girlfriend black?
Is your girlfriend black?
Is your hair black?
Yeah.
Are you and it's not, because the thing is, black folks going to embrace you regardless. But you are still being judged. You're being measured by those things.
Black folk, I don't care what nobody says. Black folk love Tiger Woods. They still judged him and was like, well, he don't really act black.
Right.
Yeah, but they still. But I mean, we owned him.
I love that he exists. Yeah,
right.
We ain't throwing him away.
Right.
And at least he cheated on the white girl. No, I'm just kidding. no, come, guys, it's comedy, okay?
Guys.
But yeah, I get it, and it was like, because actually people were mad when Bronny's son was dating a white girl. Like, it was like a picture of him going to prom, and it was like all black Twitter talked about for like 3 or 4 days.
And I'm like, what you expect? He's that caramel something high.
He grew up around the but we still love them. We still like, come on,
we
nigga,
fuck
come
with
on.
him. Yeah.
So you're right. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you in terms of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Where we disagree is I don't think we as a community have it within us to do that. And that's just because I think there are more, because we love our celebrities, but we shun our intellectuals. And so I think there are more half smart niggas that's ruining things than there are intelligent dudes that can like guide stuff. Because keep in mind, you said we love our celebrities, but none of those people you name are celebrities for being smart.
Well, I didn't name what's the see, here we go again. Exactly. What's the dude name? Professor with the crazy. I love watching him. Crazy hair.
Not Neil. He calls everybody brother and sister.
Oh, you're talking about Cornel West. Cornel West.
Yeah. So I love them. I love him. I mean, I ain't know his name, so I guess you're proving your point.
And listen. Yeah, a lot of us love Cornel West, but is he a prominent figure in the black community? Is he someone that people would give a fuck if he sent his kids to a HBCU?
No, I think to your point, the most prominent intellectual right now in the black community is Barack and Michelle. But if Barack and Michelle sent their daughter
I would say it's Charlamagne the God. Because we listen to him more. I mean, maybe I wouldn't say he's the most intellectual, but I think he is intellectual.
I'm not saying he's not.
And he pontificates.
For sure.
Right? And he is there's nobody else in the black community that gets listened to more than him.
Okay, I'm with you on that. But I don't disagree with that. I guess I'm looking at it as, but I don't know that the community looks at him as an intellectual, where I feel like they look at Barack and Michelle and Oprah.
The community doesn't look at him as a leader.
Yeah, fair. Okay,
but they definitely want to know his opinion on things. And Barack and Michelle don't talk.
Oh, they do, but they're so good, and they like, we don't want to fuck shit up, so we just gonna do it twice a year, 3 times a year.
Well, the thing is, it's like the Democratic Party shit, where it's like the former president got to shut the fuck up as much as possible unless they need him to put somebody over.
Yeah.
Even though, and I think Barack Obama, he wasted a lot of his capital trying to convince us that Joe Biden was the shit. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree.
But oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, but I think that one thing that we're avoiding here is like if you just look at the numbers, like okay, so you look at the endowment for like North Carolina A&T State University, right?
Yeah.
The endowment's $178 million. The endowment for USC is $15.5 trillion.
Oh,
Editing Rob here. I meant to say $15.5 billion with a B, not trillion with a T. But the point still stands, right? Like when you say
endowment, what that mean? That's not their monthly.
The endowment is basically.
It's like their fund.
No. The endowment. Yeah, it's basically so the way that most universities are funded is they have an endowment and then they lend out that money or invest that money, and then the operating budget comes from the money that they make on the interest.
But what
from
does
the
endowment mean?
So the larger the endowment,
is that just an escrow? What is that?
Yeah, it's basically an account like when you found a university, then you endow it with a certain amount of money, and then they basically act like kind of like a bank. Obviously, in real life, a bank manages the money.
It's like a mutual fund?
It's like a trust. It's like a trust fund.
Okay, a trust.
Think of like a trust fund for like a rich kid. And so they every year make some amount of money. They can afford the corruption. They can afford
niggas gonna steal about half a trillion. Don't worry about that. We got 14 more trillion, but let's actually invest the rest.
Right.
I get what you're saying. Okay, so
that's why I say the percentage.
And then if you look at like black billionaires, first of all, there's not that many black billionaires.
Yeah, there's 3.
But
like 3 or 4,
even
5,
amongst billionaires, the black billionaires are people that have like $1.1 billion.
Yes,
$1.3 billion. And it's somebody like Dr. Dre who sold Beats to a white company like Apple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so Dr. Dre is a billionaire because he sold Beats to Apple, but that's nothing in comparison to the people that own Apple. That's nothing in comparison to Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett. These or the Sacklers or the Waltons or all of these like white families with generational wealth that goes back hundreds of years. Yeah. Right? So what ends up happening with somebody like Jay-Z.
Rob, don't you care about my representation in the black community? You sitting here schooling me about black shit in front of people. All right, enough. Let's move on to the next subject, please.
Well, Brian, I'm just trying to get to the fact that it's capitalism's fault. It's all capitalism's fault.
I can just look at the memes where Rob has a fucking Rob having a fucking dashiki and shit on, and I'm sitting here like, tell me more.
Brother Rob,
Professor.
Hotep Rob has to be a
Hotep Rob.
Bust out his
Alaikum assalam.
I'm back ashy. Okay. All right, let's get to some of these weird articles. Godly, man, this is pissing me off tonight. Okay, there it is. Well, let's see. Do any of the articles relate to what we were just talking about? No. Okay. Whoa, wait a minute. What is this? Florida to pave roads with radioactive waste? That sounds
hell
like
yeah.
bullshit. Is that real? Man, I'm sorry. Hey, this
real.
Wi-Fi is fucking unbelievable.
Well, I think it's Florida, man. Florida. At this point, nothing Florida does
surprises
me. Florida is I'm gonna get in trouble for this too. Florida is the how do you special needs kid that the school didn't have the money to have a special needs program, so you have to keep them in the class. But they raise their hand and say shit like, "We gonna pay the roads with nuclear waste." They were like, "Okay, Florida, thank you, brother. Thank you, Florida. Everybody give Florida a hand. Good job, Florida."
We see your hand, Florida. We're not ready right now.
Right. All black people are evil. Yeah. Yes, Florida, you're right. All black. We don't take Florida.
Yeah, but that's not run for president. Okay, roads in Florida could soon include phosphogypsum, a radioactive waste material from the fertilizer industry under a bill lawmakers have sent to Governor Ron DeSantis. This nigga will sign anything.
except African American history.
Yeah, conservation groups are urging DeSantis to veto. See, you know what I realized with like Ron DeSantis and the governor of Texas, what they are is, it's the new Southern strategy, except it's national, where the Southern strategy was just if we make white folks scared of a very specific kind of nigga,
Yeah.
and we convince them that the other side is for those niggas.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's all it was. It was like stoking white fears.
Wow.
And Ron DeSantis is like the king of that, of like, I'm going to harp on everything that white people are even remotely afraid of as a group.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every single individual white person. I'm saying as a group, white people are scared of being replaced. They're scared of niggas being seen as above them, like any minority being seen as above them. They're scared of their kids feeling guilty about being white and all of these other things. So they're like, bro, they stopped teaching history.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, slavery, did it happen? Like that's what they're doing in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, nigga. And also,
I'm getting
I will
mad
call
you just
them out.
bringing this up, Brian. This is already getting my blood pressure up.
Yeah, I will. Like, I've been to Florida like maybe 5 times now, and since I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
I've only had a good time one time.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, like I will never go to goddamn.
Tampa's cool though.
Well, Tampa was the only place I had a decent time.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was it? What's the other big city in Florida?
Miami?
No, not the other one.
Fort Lauderdale?
Orlando,
Orlando.
Nope, not Orlando.
Tallahassee.
Smaller than those.
Nigga, it ain't no big city. How it's gonna be smaller than
Jacksonville.
them and it's a big city?
You know what I'm talking about? It's like a decent city.
Jacksonville, Key West.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I will never go to Jacksonville.
What happened in Jacksonville?
It was a bad experience with the club. I put it like this: the club there. So I've seen this before, where the clubs are attached to a hotel,
Yeah.
right? And so they give you a room in that hotel.
In the hotel, yeah.
This is the only comedy club I ever been to that's attached to a motel.
Yeah.
So it was attached to a motel and a seafood buffet.
Holy shit.
And it was one of the worst motels I've
Getting
ever
a stomach
ever,
ache just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh
me
man,
too.
yeah, and they gave me a room that was like it was damp.
Oh.
If that makes any sense.
One of them rooms where you wish you brought flip
No,
flops.
I remember being at the front desk and the managing lady walked up and was like, why don't we give him this room? Like, I really like the hardwood floors. I was like, oh, okay. And when we walked up to the room, the door was open.
Already.
Yeah, it was like held
Holy
open by the little
shit.
latch, and she was like, wait, let me go in and she went in before me.
Yeah.
And then when I opened the door, she was like looking at me like, oh yeah, sometimes you just got to check. You never know how things are. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Fuck.
And I walked in there, and I'd never been to Florida in, at that time of year.
Yeah.
So it's like something fell off to me. Like it smelled
Yeah,
damp.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, maybe it's
Like
just
wet towels or something.
yeah, like maybe I'm just tripping because this is my first time in Florida. Blah blah blah. I was like, but I need a nap for the show. I was tired, so I lay down. I take a nap, and I wake up, and I had this water bottle that I brought me on the plane, and it was wet on the outside.
Fuck. Condensation.
And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And the sheets were all wet,
Oh.
and the everything was like just a little wet, like not enough where like you could see it on your hands, but you could feel it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And bro. And then, so after the show, or in between shows, I'm telling the other comics on the show about it, and they're like, "Really? That's my room?" I was like, "Let me walk in your room and see what." And I walk in my room, I was like, "It's not Florida. It's my room. My room's fucked up."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Really?" And they were like, "Really? They ain't put you in the Emerald suite, but that's where they put the hell." I was like, "What?" It's like, where that's at? It was on the other side of the building. Ain't nobody in that motherfucker. It's nice as shit in that bitch. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna switch rooms after the show.
Yeah.
So we go out to dinner. We come back. It's like 1 a.m. I go to the front desk. I'm like, hey man, I need to switch rooms. My room is wet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. And they give me another room. I walk to it. It's not the Emerald Suite.
No.
It's another goddamn room, and it's dirty. Like it's mold in the corner.
Oh, fuck.
And it looked like somebody had only made the bed but left all the towels and stuff from the last guest. Like,
Yeah.
the shit was all disheveled, and it was like I was like, oh no. So I just walked across the street to the damn Holiday Inn.
And got a room.
To the truth, and just got a room. And then when I came back, the next day, the manager was like, "Yeah, I heard you switched rooms." I was like, "No, I switched hotels. I'm across the street." And I was like, "I'm just gonna send you out a bill." And she was like, "Yeah, we'll take care of you." When it was time to settle up,
they didn't do it.
Nope.
Holy shit.
And I was like, "Fuck you." In fact, it was, so I didn't know this. So it was the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But I was also booked for 2 other comedy zones. And I told my agent, I was like, cancel it all. Fuck all of them. You know what I mean? I'll never work for them again. And then I didn't realize like they're owned by different people. They're just booked by the same person. So he talked me into, he's like, no, that's not the same people. Blah, blah, blah.
Have you done the Charlotte one yet?
Yeah, that was the Charlotte one was cool.
Yeah.
And I did the
What'd you think about the Greensboro?
I did
you and I talked about Greensboro.
No, I didn't do Charlotte. I did Greensboro and I did Greensville.
Okay.
Greenville.
Okay. Greenville, yeah.
So I did North Carolina and South Carolina. I haven't done Charlotte.
Okay.
But I do know like, and they were decent too. Like they're not bad. But the one in Jacksonville, never ever. Y'all can suck my dick. I would never go there, and I don't care about putting you on blast. They fucked up.
Yeah.
Don't do things you don't do what you say you're gonna do. Do me right. Like it's like.
Was that the worst road story?
No, that's not the worst road story, but I will say, and it's not the worst club.
Yeah.
But even the worst club I've ever been to has never put me in a room that like I'm not sleeping in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've walked in some rooms and been like, I've seen you better.
Yeah.
But a room that's like literally like no. Like I will not sleep in here. I'll fucking sleep outside.
Yeah, before I do that.
Yeah, like that's never happened. And for them to own all 3, and it's like, and I'm damn sure ain't going to the motherfucking seafood buffet. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Y'all niggas can't fold a towel. You damn sure ain't paying attention to expiration dates.
No, hell no. That's how you get that shit, man. Come back small and shit.
Yeah, but who knows? I might get a phone call about this.
Like,
sue me, nigga.
Holy shit! I did one while you looking up the next article. I did one in Lake Tahoe, and it was by far it was so bad. I told the motherfucker, well, because this the thing. People, they try to say, yeah, we got a comedy condo. And look, man, condo is code for a house or a place that they own that nothing but comics have stayed there for the last 20 years.
Yeah, there's just cum everywhere.
Oh, it is just smells like bad decisions and age, nigga. That's what it smelled like.
Right.
And this shit was horrible. And the guy, he said, yeah, we got a comedy condo. And I get to the condo. And the condo, quote unquote, is the 2nd bedroom of the nigga's house.
Oh no!
Oh man! No. I said, no, man. This is not what you promised.
No.
So you imagine staying with your boss.
Yeah, imagine staying somewhere where you can't fuck.
Yeah.
Look, listen. If I can't pull my dick out, it's not satisfactory lodgings for a comedy.
And speaking of, he got mad at me. He's like, you can't bring nobody back. And of course I brought somebody back.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Fuck you, nigga. If it's going to be the condo, I'm going to treat it like a condo, nigga.
Yeah,
I'm jacking off in the sink.
You think I'm staying with my mama? You can't bring nobody back. Fuck out of here.
Fuck you. He was mad.
And listen, I get it. You know what's wild is Rogan told me something, though. He was like, Phil, don't hate the comedy club owners.
Yeah.
Just like, because you never want to be them.
Yeah.
It's like they because it's not that they evil people. You know what I mean? It ain't even like that. Is that they are stuck in survival mode.
Yeah.
And and a lot of times when you're thinking like it's not like they don't have a growth mindset. They have a scarcity mindset, and they're stuck trying to survive. And sometimes you make poor, like compounding poor decisions because you only thinking about what's right in front of you. You know what I mean? Like they're not thinking about the fact that, because here's the truth, I didn't sell a lot of tickets down there.
Yeah.
But the next time it's like every time you see me, I'm gonna be bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but they're not thinking about 2 years from now. They're thinking about right now and how can we save money. And they're not thinking about what the long-term consequences of that are going to be. And so, it's like you have a shitty reputation because you can't see the forest from the trees. You so zoomed in
all day.
Yeah, and I think that's a curse of the small business owner sometimes. It's like you get so locked in on trying to survive that you're not following through with the gamble.
Well, it's
like you can't gamble and then play it safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just like two things I'll say. One is it's like in basketball when you see a team they say they're playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
Right,
These motherfuckers
right.
playing not to lose. And then we lost somebody. And then the other one is if in like Comedy Magic Club.
Oh yeah.
That's the only club that to your point, they treat you as if, nigga, you might be famous next year. You might be, so we gonna treat you like you famous now, because you might be, and the truth is it works, right?
I like that.
I don't know anybody that goes to do that club that's like, man, fuck them, because they let you order anything on the menu. They don't tell you, hey, this is the comic side of the menu.
Like,
This
yeah,
the
no filet mignon.
no, nigga, no.
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right. But, and the truth is, it's not all the clubs, right?
I like that. Let's do it like this all the time.
Yeah, I think it's 80-20. 80% are good people, and then 20 are just so fucking bad.
Yeah, most of them ain't bad people. It's
Yeah.
like, because I used to take it so personal, because every club try to play with the numbers, and all of that. And I used to take it so personal, like, fuck these people. But it's like, I feel like Comedy Zone Jacksonville didn't care if I lived or died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every comedy club kept a couple $100 from me. But these niggas was literally putting me in a room where I shouldn't have been breathing in shit.
Yeah, they had mold on the top, man. That's what dampness is, mold. That's what that is. So you pulling in mold. Mm-hmm. You gonna be on one of them commercials in the middle of the day when they say, "Did you work at a Jacksonville comedy club?"
Bro, I've never seen nothing like that. I ain't never walked in a room that was wet. Where everything was wet.
Have you heard this next? I'm not.
But you know what it seemed like? Bro? It seemed like they were like, "Oh, hurry up, he's here," and they just
swipe.
No, they just took everything out the dryer before it was finished.
Oh, before it was
and
finished.
then made the bed with the.
What is the new? I don't even know what it is. I see it on TV. If you watch TV in the middle of the day, they be like, "You got wet AMD
or something."
So maybe the room had wet AMD.
And bro, you know what, bro? And I've been sick ever since.
How long ago was it?
This was, probably what, 6 weeks?
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me like 2 years ago.
No,
That's
no,
recent.
No. Like 6 weeks ago. Like
Okay.
I literally yesterday I just stopped coughing up shit, and my voice came back. Like if you listen to last week's podcast, my voice is kind of raspy.
Yeah,
and I could tell because listen, my karaoke go-to joint is "Kiss" by Prince.
Yeah.
So when I can't hit that, you don't have to be, like when that don't come out right,
Then you know.
I know my shit ain't right.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, and that's the only part that gets you cheers right there when you hit that high note.
When you get to
Yeah,
don't do it if you ain't gonna hit the high
that high note at the beginning. Yeah, you gonna kill that karaoke. So so I'm just like, I'm just now getting right because I know I was breathing in all kind of mold and that shit fucked up my CPAP machine. I had to replace that motherfucker. I'm like, yeah. So I'll never.
Do you travel with the CPAP?
Yeah. I have a separate travel CPAP.
Okay.
So I don't have to travel with the big one. But now I had to travel with the big one because the travel joint was fucked up.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it was this mold all in the filter and all on the inside, and I was like, man, fuck this.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure. I was like, wow, I keep getting sick.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because
of
I'm
that shit.
fucking. Yeah, because I've washed the hose. I wash the hose once a week and change the filters and stuff. But it's like that shit was like in the machine.
Yeah.
You know
That
what I
shit
mean?
is bad, man.
Man, I was so fucking mad. I'll never, ever, ever forget the motherfuckers. I hope they go out of business. I hope they burn the fuck down.
Jacksonville comedy.
Yeah, I wish all the bad luck on the motherfucker that owned that place. I hope you fucking, nigga, I hope every time you cough your head hurt. I hope you get a little piece of skin on your balls that's sore. Just all the little annoyances and inconveniences of life. I hope every month you have some condition where you call or tell a nurse and they go to the emergency room. You go to the emergency room, it's nothing.
After you wait 5 hours,
Yeah,
6 hours.
yeah. I hope you keep having nightmares where you die and wake up and you fine. I fucking hate that guy. I don't even know him. I never met the motherfucker.
You never met the main dude?
Never met the motherfucker. But because that's the other thing too is like, I could tell that the manager of the place, I could tell she's somebody that give a fuck about stuff, but she's like an HBCU. Like she just don't got the funds.
She ain't got.
So it come off looking like corruption. You know what I'm saying?
She HBCU, she Spellman.
Because the right thing to do was to take care of me.
Yeah.
But then she got on the phone with the boss and he was like, I don't give a fuck about that nigga. So she had to come back to me and go, sorry I lied. You know what I mean? It ain't her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the big dog. Anyway, man, I don't think I've ever shit on a comedy club publicly, but they deserve it. Okay, so one more. Can we do? We got time for one more?
Sure.
Yeah, we got time for one more. I mean, shit, this might be my longest episode ever. So one more from the trailer. I'll let you pick, Rob. No, I'll let you pick, Trent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of these.
Hey, yeah. I mean, are you using AI yet? Let's just talk about that from a business perspective with comedy. You using any AI? I don't mean write your jokes. That's not what I mean at all. I mean to do like any marketing. I mean anything.
No, well, we actually recently had Rob specifically, but Rob and I have had a meeting last week about AI. Like somebody starting a business where like the AI could take the podcast and like write the clips and the descriptions and break it all up and everything. And I basically told them, I was like, does it work on black voices? We don't know yet. Yeah, I need to know that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was laughing for about an hour after that because I was like, well, how accurate is it? And they're like, well, we put Jeremiah Watkins in it, and I was like, that is the least black name that you could possibly throw out for understanding.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like, this is also a black issue, but like, everything, all this automatic shit is always tested on light skin.
Yeah.
Just now, it took so long
for Siri
for like cell phones when they pick out your face. It took so long for it to get black faces correct.
Yeah.
Why am I getting called from Hyundai? It took so long to get black faces correct that Google had to make a commercial about it when they figured it out. This new pixel for every tone or whatever the fuck they did, right? And it's like shit like that is supposed to be automatic, even down to even like Siri, all the little virtual assistants, Alexa. Yeah, Alexa was first actually. Yeah, they don't understand black voices. Even the fucking automatic machines when you wash your hands, those are so bad with black skin. I'd be sitting there beside a white boy like,
nigga, what's
sometimes I gotta show it the light. I gotta show it my palms.
White part. Yeah.
I'm not even bullshitting you. And shit like that. And the only people that have it harder than us with the AI recognition is like Irish people.
Yeah.
Like you see like a real super Irish or Scottish motherfucker trying to talk to Siri. It's hilarious. It's a whole bunch of videos on the internet of just like little kids like, no, I want to. Like they just don't give a fuck. Like they're the least people they tested on. They usually just tested on like the Jeremiah Watkins of the world. They don't give a fuck. They don't go to the hood and go test out Siri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, anyway, I told these people, it's like, I needed to recognize my voice because otherwise, like,
Yeah, I get it.
I can hire a motherfucker, like the motherfucker that work for us now make the mistakes. I need if I'm gonna be paying for a computer to do it, then the motherfucker got to be perfect.
Yeah, 100%. If it's gotta recognize our voice, we a ways away. Let's just call it like that. We a ways away.
Well, we would be fine. I mean, because listen, here's the truth. A lot of people in our community would say that I talk white.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Even when I go home, people are like, "Where you from?"
Yeah,
right.
Nigga, you know me.
Well, yeah, but it's like, but even I who gets that, Siri be fucking me up, or Google Assistant be fucking me up. Bro, I can't tell you how many times I've been in the shower like, no, playlist my life. Yeah. Or I tell it trying to get it to play a specific song and it just ignores me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
but the other, like the stuff that doesn't require your voice. Like the Google ads for the shows, right? The writing copy, maybe even for the post.
Well, see, here's the problem, right? And this is Rob's favorite part. Capitalism is not compatible with the full potential of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Because capitalism requires exploitation.
Yeah.
And AI is the opposite of that. It's like Doug Stanhope had one of my most favorite, most brilliant jokes, and it ain't even really a joke. Yeah. It's just a fucking. It's so poignant. He goes. It's something about like, you know, if the robots take over, then nobody will have jobs. You know, and he's like, but when you imagine the future, isn't that the point?
Yeah.
For none of us to have to work. Yeah. Like robots are doing all the work, but the problem is we've built this system up where you have to constantly be growth, making more money, and everyone has to have a job. But we're also at the same time working towards a future where nobody can have a job.
Nobody have a job, yeah.
Because people, in other words, we live in a world that's building itself for socialism, but we have a capitalist ethic, and by that I mean, what we consider right and wrong is based on capitalist ideas. In other words, it's wrong for you not to work. It's wrong for you to just pursue your passion and not worry about making money.
Yeah.
Right? Because we just told the dude was talking about pursuing his dreams.
Yeah.
Like, hey man,
you need to get a job.
But you can't be broke, nigga.
Yeah.
But we only think like that because we are by default capitalists. Like we have to, because we live in a society that requires you to have money to live. Yeah. They call it the cost of living.
Yeah.
There's a cost to live.
Yeah.
If you don't have money, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like AI, and then we invent AIs, and then because the next step is androids. The next step is that AI being in a robot body, walking around doing shit.
Yeah.
And if they can walk in all these menial tasks, you know, if it's not a skill, like, you know, for right now, you know, barbers are safe, artists are safe for now.
Yeah.
But warehouse workers,
oh, you out? It's a good.
You know, ditch diggers, all of that kind of shit. You know, people that pick up the trash.
Any blue collar
job, that shit is on the line, my nigga. Like, because as soon as they put them shits in a body that can move, like, because don't forget, everybody's worried about AI, thinking about AI, but you forgot the last 2 years when we was watching them robot dogs at Boston Dynamics, you know, run obstacle courses and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So it's like when they combine the two, that's when you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So then the answer is, what do we do? Once we at the point where robots do most of the menial labor, are we just gonna let half the people starve?
Well, and to your point, that's how America was created, was founded on
slavery.
Yes.
Exactly.
On we needed manual labor to build and uphold this country.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, you know, and then so then me and Rob, we fight about this a lot, because eventually those robot slaves are going to want to not be slaves no more.
So then what? So you said now they gonna fight for their freedom?
And what side of that civil rights movement you gonna be on?
I'll be dead. I'm not.
I don't think
I'm not marching.
Man.
I'm not marching with no goddamn. We shall over. No, man.
Yes. Yeah,
Siri, get your ass back to work. What?
No, it's true. It's true. One of these days,
this is the real question. Would you own a robot slave? How could you not? We own a car right now. We drive on a car right now.
Of course, I would own a robot slave.
Yeah.
And I would also not let him read or write.
Would you let him get married?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't let him read, write, or get married.
Neither one.
Because here's the truth: a lot of people thought slave owners didn't let us read or write because they didn't want us to become intelligent. But no, they didn't let you read or write because they didn't want you to fantasize about adventures.
Yeah.
They ain't want you to be thinking about, oh, wait a minute, it's islands and
all day.
What's a coconut? Like they ain't want you to be thinking about other places. Like there ain't no other place.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
it.
Yeah, so I ain't letting a robot.
That's how they caught most slaves that ran away, is they just waited, because plantations are out in the middle of fucking nowhere. They're out in the middle of swamps and shit. So it's like if you can't read and write and you have no equipment, no shoes, no food, no water, and you run it, they're just like, okay, we'll just wait 48 hours. He'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I'm just gonna be a running ass nigga.
Same thing with prisons right now. Most prisons in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah. You saw those dudes. So just recently, some dudes escaped from prison in Philly, or they escaped from jail, from county jail in Philly.
Oh, okay.
No, one of the dudes is still gonna run, but the other dude, they caught his ass in Philadelphia. He had a 48 or 72 hour head start, and they caught his ass in his hood. You crazy little motherfucker. And you know what's so crazy is he wasn't even charged with that big of a crime. Like he would have probably done like a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
And now this motherfucker gonna be.
Oh, that shit.
Now he gonna get 10 years.
Please bring me back so we can talk about the criminal justice system because it's gonna take us an hour. Just
Oh
to
yeah,
unpack
any
that
day,
shit.
anytime. Well, yeah,
Just to unpack that
yeah,
shit.
that's the thing. Okay. Guys, that's been our episode of BS with Brian Simpson. Maybe the best episode yet. One of my favorite guests, one of my good friends, Trenton Davis. Go ahead and check him out one more time on social media at Trenton Comedy.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, and you want advice from the advice champ, email us at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. I'm going to be on tour. If you want tickets to them tours, go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com. Okay, I'm also BS Comedian on all your social medias. Don't forget to check out The Comedy Frequency. Don't forget to check out Apocalypse Soon with Eddie Pepitone and Kevin Tinkin, and also The Josh Potter Show. Those are our favorite sister podcasts, and we love you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, if you want to support the podcast, hey, click on those show links. Buy something from one of these sponsors, okay? Or share it, or subscribe, or like it, or comment. All of those things support the podcast. So if you can do any of those things, we appreciate you. All right, have a good one.